Hey guys, LootWizard here, and welcome back to another episode of my new account playthrough. This is episode 16. We're going to be going through the Suncrest quest line, and we're going to be unlocking the class for this one. Now, I do believe the class for the Suncrest Kingdom is the Stormcaller. So that's a pretty good class. But we're going to take a look at it after we unlock it, and so let's get right into it. I am level 113. I am leveling Titan up to 40 so I can get that rock solid. And so I'm currently at 32. You can see that in the top left corner right under my character icon. It says 32. That's my current level. And let's go on ahead and unlock the Suncrest Kingdom. We get a new banner, so we're going to have a double yellow and green banner. That'll help us with some teams. And it looks like we have 24 battles to go through to finish this quest. And we're going to skip over all the different story here because that doesn't really matter. But yeah, I think this is the team I was using last time. I can't remember. It's been a few days since I've logged into this account. So yeah, I don't remember which team I was using. I think it was this, and I think I'm going to go with this, even though I really do want to use Gorgotha, because I got that recently. I still don't have enough trait stones to unlock the reduction to skull damage, which is like one of the most important things for that troop, so I don't really want to use it too much until I do that, and I don't know how long that's going to be. I could use Orbs of Wisdom to unlock it. I do have 2 Orbs of Wisdom now, so I could unlock it, but I don't know if I want to use it for Gorgotha. One of the things that would probably be better to use that for would be Cedric, if we can get him from the vault, because you're only going to get the bonus of 100 gold from Cedric if you can unlock those traits on the card. So that might be something that I want to save my my Orbs of Wisdom for. That's one thing about this game, that it's nice in some sense because it gives you something to grind for, you know, to still progress later on in the game. But it's also still really a pain. That is the arcane trait stones. Just trying to... They're so... it takes so many of them to unlock those final traits. You know, I feel like it's almost a little too much because it's like 16 arcane trait stones for your standard legendary card, and then for mythics it's even more. You know, mythic troops have like over 20 arcane trait stones. So, I don't know. It's just a lot of trait stones to farm for. Especially when you pretty much are only guaranteed an arcane trait stone for doing level... If you do level 12 explore battles, you can, you know, get arcane trait stones faster. But it's very hard to do. It's like impossible to do level 12 explore when you are a low level like I am now on this account. There are teams that can do it, but I don't really have all of the teams yet, or the troops for it. But you're pretty much guaranteed an arcane trait stone if you defeat a boss in the explore battles. Which you have to get 100 myth stones in order to even face a boss. So it gets pretty involved. You know, and that's you know, when you're doing a list, and right now I'm kind of slowly working on a mythic tier list because I haven't really done that. So on my channel, I have gone over... Those are pretty long videos. I've gone over like all the legendary cards in the game. Now there's some that are going to be missing from that simply because it's an older video. New ones have come out since then. But I did go over every single mythic in the game at one point on my channel. Basically giving my opinion on what I think of those mythics and where they should be ranked. But some of my opinions have probably changed a little bit on that, just because here's the thing, you know, with Gems of War, there could be a troop that isn't great, it's okay, like a legendary troop, and then all of a sudden another legendary troop comes out, or a mythic troop, that makes that troop really good. Like, for example, there's two troops that are used quite often together. You have the Divine Ishbala, which is a legendary card, which is basically a converting skull damage troop. So it will convert gems, and it converts a color of gems into skulls. So that's Divine Ishbala, and alone, it's a pretty good card. Then there's another legendary card that does a similar thing, called Keelan. It's like a dragon beast card, but those two together, because of the gems that they transform, fills up each other, and they just really mesh well together with the gems, the colors of gems that they're transforming, and the skulls. So that's what I mean when I say that there's some legendary cards, or some cards in general, that are okay on their own, but then when you combine them with a different troop, they're even more powerful. So, you know, it's kind of hard to rate some, you know, to do a tier list. It's a little difficult sometimes, because that troop's power, if you judge the troop's power by itself alone, it sometimes might not be that great. But when you combine it with other troops, then it can really, really be amazing. So that's why I kind of struggle a little bit with making tier lists, and I think that's one of the reasons why I haven't done a tier list on Mythics yet, even though I think there's definitely some clear winners. Like, if I was to list off, like, the top 3 mythic troops, in my opinion, I could probably, you know, come up with a pretty quick list. But once you start getting into all the details of, okay, is this mythic troop, it's good, but is it better than this other one, which is still good, but it's not, you know, like top 5. You know, so, but there's definitely a few mythic troops that are clear winners that are going to be at the top, and there's definitely losers. Like, I don't know. It's one thing. That's one thing about Gems of War, is the balance of troops. So, for example, some mythic troops just aren't good, and there are certain legendary troops that are better than some of the worst mythic troops. So it's odd. It's like one of those situations where, should it really be classified as a mythic? You know, I mean, yeah, it is, but I don't know. It's just kind of my thoughts on it. Whenever I think of mythic, you know, you're thinking, well, it should be incredibly powerful, right? Because, I mean, it's mythic. But, you know, I guess in a game like this, it's always hard to balance things properly, because you have so many different abilities and troops and things going on with the cards. But the other thing, too, that I've been thinking about somewhat by working on this mythic tier list is some troops, mythic, yes, but also legendaries and even other troops in the game, like Elwyn right here, this troop. Elwyn is a really great troop. Now, I would rate this troop as one of the best early game troops that you can get. But at a certain level, probably around level 500 to 1,000, somewhere in that range, this troop's not going to be good anymore. So the thing about making these tier lists is that you're always going to have troops that are really, really great for certain levels, lower levels. And when you're that low level, you're not going to have access, most of the time, you're not going to have access to the best mythics or the best legendaries in the game. So you're really stuck with using those troops that are best for that level range. So what I'm thinking of is, like, with my mythic tier list, I almost feel like I should rank how good a mythic troop is for what, like, level in the game. Like, for example, is a mythic troop going to be really great all the way from, like, where I'm at right now in this new playthrough, level 114? Is it going to be as good at this level as it would be when I'm level, 1300? Or is that mythic troop going to be way better at a lower level, and then is it going to lose some of its power at higher levels? So those are things to think about, like, when I'm making a tier list. And I don't quite know how I'm going to do this yet, because I feel like to do justice to some of the troops in the game, I really do need to have my tier list almost tiered by level. So, for example, like, if I put these troops are ranked best for accounts that are level 500 and below, or these troops are best for if you're level 1000 and above. I don't know where the cutoff would be, if I should just do the 500, like, first 500 levels, and then there's the second 500 levels, and then a third. But I don't know, that might make the tier list even more complicated. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna organize that sort of list yet. But yeah. Because that is something that, it's something that I do like about Gems of War, even though it makes it harder to make teams that are going to be useful for everyone that watch my videos, is that you're going to be using different troops at different levels in the game. And that can make it, that's one of the reasons why I started this new account playthrough, is because, I'm almost level 1400 on my main account, and I have almost every single mythic in the game on that account. I have every single legendary troop on that account except for 2 imps. So I got pretty much all the troops, and I can use really anything that I want over there, which, it's good for high-level players that have spent as much time as me in the game, but at the same time, it makes it difficult to make teams for you guys that are just starting out in the game, or if you're, somewhere under that level 1000 range. It makes it a little more difficult for me to make teams that are useful for you guys. Alright, we got this weapon. Spark Rocket. Now, I really haven't used this weapon too much since the very, very early days, so I kind of forgot totally about this weapon. But Spark Rocket is actually a decent weapon. It says it will explode a gem and deals 12 damage to a random enemy, and then it burns them. And burning, it takes a troop that's burning on fire is going to take 3 damage every single turn until it recovers from that. So that's actually pretty good, because most troops at this level aren't going to have a lot of life and armor. So that's pretty good early on. And it's a low mana cost. It only has 11. And if we can get if we get a class that, you know, we can have that half starting mana, then that's cut in half. So that's good. Yeah, so I don't know. Hopefully you guys aren't really bored by me just talking about this tier list that I'm kind of starting on for mythic troops. But I don't know. I'm just trying to find things to kind of talk about a little bit here while I'm going through these quest lines, because these quest lines honestly are a little bit boring. And if I don't have something to talk about that is relevant to the game, might not be might not be a reason for you guys to watch these videos. Hey, we're level 115 now. I must have leveled up and I didn't even see it. I was too busy talking about the tier list I'm working on. Distracted myself. Hey, we got a mech gnome. We could get legendary ingots from that. That would be wonderful, because we need legendary ingots for our legendary weapons. Ooh, I like that. Lots of extra turns and stuff going on here. Yeah. I got really lucky with... we got epic ingots. That's alright, though. I got really lucky early on here in the game by getting Behemoth. I got it out of seal keys from my guild chests. So that's that was pretty lucky, because Behemoth is a really great legendary troop, especially early on in the game. It's going to do damage to all enemies, which is pretty strong. And then we are doing some mana generation, because it will destroy 12 gems on the board, and that's not based on magic. So this is a troop, for example, that it's probably better earlier on in the game like this than it is later, because you have troops later on when you can increase your magic to a really high value, where the 12 really, you know, destroying 12 gems is good early on like this, but it's not great once you level up a lot. So there's going to be a point, if I keep using this account, where I just won't use Behemoth anymore, because it's there's going to be other legendary and mythic troops that I would get that are just going to be more powerful. Yeah, let's see what we got here. Not much to choose from. We'll try to get Elwyn up first, I guess. We don't have any yellow or green, but I don't know. I like troops that do damage and generate mana. Those are like the two things that I really like about troops. So Elwyn is destroying a row and a column, so it's generating mana, and then it's also doing damage. And Behemoth is doing damage to all enemies, and it's generating some mana. So that right there is fantastic. And the other troop that's also doing that is the white. Yeah, because the white here is going to steal life, but it also creates 5 purple gems. So it's doing some damage, and it's generating mana, and the purple is going to go right into my weapon. So I really have 3 troops here that are doing damage and generating mana. And that just makes it much more smooth operation. If all you do is you just have troops that do damage, and then every single turn you're just not going to be generating as much mana, and you know, in all kinds of RPGs, you know, calculating your damage per second is kind of a main thing that you want to do. No, I've never really calculated damage per second in Gems of War. It might be kind of hard to do in this game, but there's still something to be said about your damage per second, how quick you can, the quicker you can get your damage out there, the more likely you are to win. If you're overly defensive, you can still win, but it's going to be a lot harder. So offense is always better than defense, but you don't want to completely ignore defense either. You do want to have some damage mitigation, whether it's through barrier, through skull reduction damage, or spell reduction damage. You know, all of that does help, but I wouldn't choose defense by sacrificing offense. You always want to have enough offensive power in your team, and generating enough mana fast enough through destroying gems or exploding gems or converting gems, all of that increases your speed that you can do your damage. So that it increases your damage output basically for the amount of time that you are in a match. So we just played level 116. We're leveling up pretty quick. I don't even have like any bonus XP on this account, except maybe from my guild. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at it again. Yeah, this troop has got some kind of reduction from skulls. This lava thing. Yeah, 50%. No wonder. I kept hitting it with skulls, and I was like, wow. I feel like it should be taking a lot more damage than that. Uh-oh. That was pretty close, but Elwyn is powerful. Oh, that's nice. We got L1 powered up like immediately. Had lots of yellow there. Oh, he's down. I will avenge my behemoth. Unfortunately, Elwyn targeted the enemy that had the least amount of health. And this troop's gonna keep gaining armor. Alright, buddy. I just need enough green here. There we go. Elwyn should be able to take him out if I can line up enough yellow. We got 4 yellow right here. That'll do it. That'll do it. Alright. What to grab? What to grab? There's probably... Yeah, I think right here. Nah, that's not it. But anyway, I can get 2-3 matches. I thought I was going to get a 4 match out of that, but... I'm not as good as seeing where I can get 4 matches by matching gems on the board. Cinny Cool is like a pro at that. If you watch him, he's like really good at seeing where you can get extra 4 matches on the board. So if you want to learn the secrets of that, I highly recommend going and checking out Cinny Cool. He's another great Gems of War YouTuber. Ouch. Yeah, I definitely gotta say that Elwyn is probably your strongest early game troop. Because the thing is here, I'm using Behemoth, but you may not be lucky enough to get Behemoth early game like this. You know, you might get a different legendary that doesn't work quite as good in a team like this. So, Elwyn, you're guaranteed to get. It's if you're doing the quest line and you work your way up to Pan's Veil, you will get Elwyn for free if you can complete that quest line. And unfortunately, my Behemoth died. Yeah, let's keep using Elwyn. See how this turns out. Hopefully he doesn't die before I can use him here. There we go. It's a beautiful thing. I think we're getting pretty close here to the end of the quest line. We should be. We should be. Yeah, that was a nice battle. Everything went my way. Oh, yeah. Alright. Let's see. We got a nice 4 match there. Take that yellow. You know, with this kind of team, I got Elwyn and I have Behemoth. I focus on the 2 colors, or rather the 4 colors that those 2 troops are using. And get one of those full as quickly as possible, and then they're going to generate mana for each other. It's 117. We are leveling up. Yeah, we'll go with yellow. Got a new weapon, Orpheus Discord. Damage to a random enemy and silence them. Silence is pretty strong, but yeah, I don't know. That weapon might be useful at some point. Let's see our quest progress. Oh, we're getting close. We are getting close. Nice. We got Elwyn up really quick. It's always nice. Generate some extra mana. Ouch. We'll take this. There we go. I was looking for a little bit of extra damage there just to finish that troop off. So yeah, just really quick, going back to a couple of my ideas on tier lists, and that's why it's kind of hard for me to make a tier list, and it's kind of hard to follow a tier list, you know? Like, sure, you can have somebody recommend, you know, something like Tina 9000 is a mythic troop that's pretty powerful, and it's pretty high up there on the list, even. But I think it's, you know, it's good on its own, but it's really amazing if you can get enough mana generated for it fast enough and consistent enough. But I have to, you know, I want to consider, like, are these mythic troops good for all levels? And someone, I think it was JF, he comments on my channel quite a bit. Hey, it looks like we completed the quest line while I was busy talking. So we got a free troop here, Tezca. Give 4 life and attack to an ally, cleanse them. Cleanse might be useful, but we can use other troops for that, so probably won't use this troop. Congratulations, you have unlocked the following kingdoms. We've unlocked Bright Forest, Darkstone, Blighted Lands, Grosh, Nock. We've also unlocked a new game mode, Dungeon. So we've unlocked dungeons. And dungeons is where you can get diamonds so that you can craft legendary troops and mythic troops. And so your dungeon is something you want to do daily. Whether you're a new player or an old player, if you're high level, low level, you want to try to complete those dungeons every single day. It's only 3 battles. If that's the only thing that you have time for in the day, you need to go in every day and do those 3 dungeon battles. But yeah, that's the end of the quest line. Let's go in and take a look at the class. We do have to unlock it first by doing the class quest. So we're going to do that, 4 battles, and we'll unlock it. And while we are doing these battles, I'll continue my previous conversation. So, yeah, I think it was JF in the comment section on one of my videos for the new mythic that got released, the Zillopochtli mythic troop. Because that troop wasn't quite as powerful as I thought it was going to be. And turns out I probably won't use it much. The thing with it is that in its traits, it'll do 12 damage to a random enemy every time you match yellow gems. Now, you will have to unlock those traits, but for example, that troop or that trait on that troop is going to be way more powerful at a low level because the enemies you're fighting have a lot less life and armor than when you're a high level. So that's JF pointed that out, and he said this mythic troop's probably only really great if you get it early on in the game, like, you know, under level 500. And I would agree with that assessment. You know, it also does double damage based on not purple gems on the board. It does extra damage for purple gems, but it does double damage if you have a storm running. Now, it's pretty easy to get a consistent storm going with certain classes and certain troops. So that's not hard to get for the double damage, but the double damage is also going to mean more when you're lower level than when you're higher level. So yeah, let me finish this guy off here real quick. We'll just do skull. So, yeah, that's, I'm almost thinking I need to make a tier. When I do my mythic tier list, I'm thinking I need to do it like, here's the best mythic troops overall, no matter what level you are. And then here's the best mythic troops for level 500 and under. Because some of the mythic troops that aren't that great overall are going to be way better at lower levels, probably. There's some that are probably just going to be bad no matter what. But, you know, that's at least what I'm thinking. And I kind of walked right into the giving that troop all that extra mana. Alright, buddy. These mana converters can be a real pain sometimes because they just keep getting extra turns. There we go. One more battle, and then we'll unlock the Stormcaller class. We'll take a quick look at it, and then we will end this episode of my new account playthrough. There we go. Nice. We are level 118. Alright, so we've unlocked the Stormcaller class. It's... No, we're not gonna do anything with that. Let's go over here. Let's check out the class. Stormcaller... There you are. So, the Stormcaller class is considered a Strix troop. As you can see right up here, it says Strix. Your hero will be this troop type, and then it's from the Suncrest Kingdom. As far as the weapon is a true damage weapon. It'll deal true damage based on your current magic, which for me is 11 at my current low level. And then it says that if there's a storm, it'll deal 15 true damage to all enemies, then remove the storm. And this weapon is one of those things that's really more powerful, just like I was talking about with troops. Okay, so this applies to weapons as well. This weapon is a lot more powerful at this low level, because that 15 true damage, that's constant. No matter what level you are, no matter how high your magic is, that damage, that 15 true damage to all enemies is going to be constant. And at this low level, that might kill most all of the enemies because they're going to have lower life. Now, once you get to like somewhere above level 500, you're going to be fighting enemies that will have more life. And so this weapon won't be as effective against those enemies at that point. But yeah, pretty low mana cost. And since it's yellow, it's a good thing with this class, because if we do unlock all of its traits, we can get a Lightstorm to start at every single turn, which right here it says if there's a storm, deal 15 true damage to all enemies, then remove the storm. And the remove the storm doesn't really matter, because if we're starting a storm at the start of every turn, it's just going to start another storm. So what I mean is, if you go in here in the traits and you look right here, conjure a Lightstorm when my turn begins. And that's going to happen every single turn. Also, it says deal 2 damage to a random enemy on 4 or 5 matches. If you have a storm going, you're going to have a higher chance of getting 4 and 5 matches. So the Strix class is, the Stormcaller class here is really good. I like using this class a lot on my main account. Works really good with Gorgotha, because Gorgotha uses yellow mana. And you do have a few of those yellow Guardian troops, the finesse ones, and if you do trait those, you can get a really powerful team going with this class, with those Guardian finesse troops, and it's just fantastic. Now, quickly looking here at its talents, and I'll try to show you like a build, basically. The first one here, summon a random storm, is not really a good idea. Unless you are early game where you don't have that final trait unlocked on the class. If you already have that trait unlocked, create a Lightstorm every single turn, then this is going to conflict with it, and you don't want that kind of conflict going on between your storms. I would say Resilience is probably better than Windshield, because Resilience is life, and enemies can do true damage to you, which would make the Windshield basically obsolete. So Resilience is probably going to be your best option right here in any build with the talents. On the second line, your best option is Purification to cleanse yourself on 4 or 5 matches. For level 10, your best option is probably going to be Fast Healing, although Wind Speed is a second option if you are using a lot of yellow allies, but I would say Fast Healing is your best option. Now, for 20, creating a dust storm is going to conflict with your light storm if you have that final trait unlocked, which you should try to do if you're going to use this class often. So I think the best one is Fey Vengeance in 20. Then we go down to level 40. We have probably the best one here is Healing Herb. So you're going to gain 4 life when matching green gems. And for level 70, I would say that Lightning Strike is your best option at level 70. This is a really great one, and it will explode 1 yellow gem on 4 or 5 matches. And since you're going to have a Lightstorm going, it almost guarantees that there's always going to be a yellow gem on the board to explode. For level 100, probably if you're using a lot of Strix in your team, especially those Guardians, you could do Strix Commander. Otherwise, Elementals gain 1 magic when an ally casts a spell. If you're using Elementals, this could be a possibility, but I think Strix Commander is going to be the best for this team, especially because your hero class is considered a Strix. So no matter what weapon you're using, as long as you have this class equipped and you have Strix Commander selected, you're going to gain 1 attack every single turn on your hero weapon. And Fey allies gain 2 life every turn. I mean, I don't know how often you're going to use Fey allies with this class. So, just to recap here really quick, I think the best build for this class is going to be Resilience at 1, Purification at 5, Fast Healing at 10, Fey Vengeance at 20, Healing Herb at 40, Lightning Strike at 70, and at level 100, Strix Commander. That's probably going to be your best build on this talent tree for most every team setup that you would use. Now, you can make a little exceptions here and there for if you're using Fey. I would probably select Eternal Summer, but you know what I just showed you there is probably what I would say is the best build. So yeah, great class. If we can, I already have 3 trait stones for this, but you know, great class and lots of good options there for It's actually got a pretty decent weapon too, as we looked at with the true damage. And you just got to do 250 battles with this class equipped, and you can get that class weapon. So, alright guys, that's pretty much it for this episode. Now, I do have one quick question here at the end for you guys that do watch these episodes. I know there's only maybe 100, 150 of you guys that do watch these, and I really, really appreciate you guys sitting through these 45-minute to an hour-long episodes of me just doing a quest line, which is probably really boring. But I do try to talk a little bit about the game while I'm doing the quest line, so it's not too boring. But a quick question for you guys that do watch this is, do you want me to keep doing these hour-long episodes where I'm just going through each quest line, or would you rather have me complete all these quest lines off video and then do videos on things like delve teams and dungeon teams and pet rescue teams and things like that? Maybe some early game soul farming teams, and I'm going to focus on those things anyway once I get done with the quest line, but I would certainly be able to probably get to the end of all of these quest lines if I could just do them all off camera on my own time here and there, because sometimes I have some extra time where maybe I got an extra half an hour and I can get half a quest line done, whereas now I'm trying to like make sure I have at least an hour of free time so I can actually sit down and record, so I know that I can finish the whole quest line, I can get the class unlocked and talk about it and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I'm just throwing that out there. I would like to hear a couple of opinions on what you guys would like me to do as far as that goes. So I appreciate you guys a lot for watching these videos and giving me some feedback. So thanks again. I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Later.